In recent months, Amy has been more reflective on social media and in interviews. She often speaks about embracing change, cherishing family moments, and focusing on what truly matters. While she's always been sentimental, there's a different tone lately, one that sounds like someone preparing for a major transition. Fans first noticed something was up when Amy posted a cryptic Instagram message about fresh starts and embracing the unknown, accompanied by a photo of a packed box labeled Memories. While Amy didn't outright say she's moving, the post raised plenty of eyebrows. Longtime viewers know Amy isn't one to leave the beloved Roloff Farms lightly. Though she sold her portion of the farm to Matt Roloff after their divorce, she has stayed relatively close by, settling into a beautiful home in Oregon with her husband, Marek. Still, recent developments, both personal and professional, suggest Amy may be seriously considering relocating. One big clue: Amy has been spending a lot more time with her children, especially Tori and Zach Roloff, who now live in Washington state with their kids. Tori, who has grown increasingly close to Amy over the years, has been a major source of support. Fans notice the two sharing more moments together, from joint baking sessions to frequent outings with the grandkids. It's clear that Tori not only values Amy's presence, but might even be encouraging the move. Sources close to the family say that Tori has been helping Amy in practical ways, too, scouting neighborhoods, discussing school districts for the grandkids, and even giving her advice on downsizing. Tori wants Amy nearby, one insider shared. She thinks it would be great for the kids to grow up with Mamie, Amy's grandma name, right around the corner. And after everything Amy's been through, she deserves to be surrounded by love and family. Amy herself hasn't exactly denied the rumors. In a recent live Q&A with fans, she was asked point-blank if she planned to stay in Oregon forever. Amy smiled and said, "Forever is a long time. I'm always open to wherever life takes me." She added that spending more time with her grandkids has become a top priority, and that she doesn't want to miss out on those precious early years. It's a sentiment that many LPBW fans deeply understand. Amy's love for her grandchildren, Jackson, Layla, Joja, and others, shines through in every post and TV appearance. Moving closer to Tori and Zach would mean being part of their everyday lives, not just holidays and special visits. For someone as family-oriented as Amy, that pull might just be too strong to resist. Tori's role in all of this cannot be understated. Although viewers saw her struggle with farm-related tensions in the past, especially when Matt Roloff's decisions caused friction among the siblings, Tori has always been a unifier when it comes to Amy. Their relationship has evolved into something truly special, more like mother and daughter than in-laws. Helping Amy explore new living options shows how much she values that bond. If Amy does make the move, it would mark a significant shift not only for her personal life, but also for the future of Little People, Big World. The show, which has chronicled the Roloffs' lives since 2006, has already seen major changes. With Matt focusing on his retirement plans and the younger generation forging their own paths, Amy's potential move would symbolize the end of an era and the beginning of a new one. Fans have mixed feelings about the possibility. Some feel nostalgic about Amy staying in Oregon, where so many LPBW memories were made. Others are excited for her to have a fresh start, closer to the people she loves most. Many have flooded Amy's social media with supportive comments, encouraging her to do what's best for her happiness. Of course, there's also the question of how Marek feels about all of this. Amy's second husband is a realtor and has been flexible in the past about major life decisions. The two have navigated everything from pandemic wedding plans to blending families with grace and humor. Based on their dynamic, it seems likely that Chris would be on board with the move, especially if it means more joyful moments with the grandkids. In fact, in a recent episode, Chris hinted that he enjoys traveling and could see himself living somewhere quieter or even closer to the mountains, which Washington certainly offers. The idea of starting a new chapter together, one focused more on family and less on the past, may be appealing to both of them. At the end of the day, whether Amy officially announces a move tomorrow or simply continues to toy with the idea, one thing is clear: she has an incredible support system. Tori's involvement highlights just how deeply connected the Roloff family remains, despite all their past challenges and TV drama. Amy and Chris met at a singles mixer event, an experience Amy was initially hesitant about. However, she stepped out of her comfort zone, and a connection was sparked. Chris was charming, attentive, and unlike anyone Amy had dated before. Their relationship unfolded slowly, as Amy was cautious about opening her heart again. Chris was patient, supportive, and respectful of Amy's experiences and emotional boundaries. Their courtship was filled with travel, shared adventures, and lots of family moments, often captured on LPBW. Chris proposed to Amy in 2019 on the anniversary of their first date, and their engagement was celebrated both privately and on the show. Their wedding 2 years later was a picturesque event, complete with family, friends, and emotional vows. Fans loved seeing Amy so happy after her difficult divorce. The first few years of marriage can be challenging for any couple, but Amy and Chris embraced the journey together. Amy sold her portion of Roloff Farms before the wedding and moved into a cozy home with Chris nearby. They spent time decorating, making it their space, and blending their lives together. Chris, who had no children of his own, embraced Amy's family warmly. He built relationships with Amy's children, Jeremy, Zach, Molly, and Jacob, and participated in family events, holidays, and even some episodes of LPBW. Though Amy sometimes struggled with balancing her deep ties to her past with Matt and the new life she was building, Chris remained supportive and understanding. Together, they enjoyed riding motorcycles, traveling, hosting friends, and spending time with their dogs. They made it clear that they valued quality time and building memories over grandiose plans. Their chemistry seemed natural and easy, and fans often commented on how relaxed and genuinely happy Amy looked with Chris. As of 2025, Amy and Chris are still happily married. They continue to share updates on social media, post photos together, and appear united in interviews and public events. Amy often posts about her life with Chris on Instagram, sharing glimpses of their dinners out, vacations, and ordinary but meaningful moments. In fact, Amy recently celebrated their third wedding anniversary with a heartfelt post reflecting on their journey. She praised Chris for being her rock, her partner, and her best travel buddy. Chris, although more private than Amy when it comes to social media, occasionally appears in videos or photos, smiling beside his wife. Importantly, neither has hinted at any relationship trouble. Instead, their online and public presence suggests a stable, grounded marriage built on mutual respect, companionship, and shared values. They have become a favorite couple for many LPBW fans who appreciate seeing a positive, later-in-life love story unfold. Marriage after 50 often comes with unique challenges: blending families, managing careers, health considerations, and thinking about retirement plans. Amy and Chris have shown maturity in how they handle these issues. Chris continues his work in real estate, while Amy has remained active with her cooking ventures, charity work, and LPBW filming. They balance their careers with personal time, often prioritizing trips to new places, weekend getaways, and visiting family. Recently, Amy has spoken about learning to trust again after her divorce, and how Chris's consistent love helped her heal old wounds. In turn, Chris has said that Amy's zest for life and strong spirit inspire him daily. Their mutual admiration seems genuine, and it's clear they work as a team. Of course, life isn't without its challenges. With Amy's family dynamics sometimes complicated by tensions between Matt and the kids, Chris has often played the role of peacemaker or supportive partner, helping Amy navigate tough conversations. Rather than becoming involved in the drama, he encourages Amy to focus on the positive relationships she has. There has been speculation about the future of Little People, Big World, as the show has seen major shifts in its cast dynamics. Zach and Tori Roloff moved to Washington, Jeremy, and Audrey Roloff left the show years ago, and Matt Roloff is stepping back from farming full-time. Amy and Chris have expressed willingness to continue appearing on LPBW, but with certain boundaries. They prefer to focus on their adventures, home life, and personal milestones rather than interpersonal drama. If the show continues or gets a spin-off focusing more on Amy's new life, fans can expect to see more heartwarming moments from the couple. However, Amy has also hinted that she would not mind stepping away from reality TV eventually to enjoy a quieter life with Chris, focusing on family, hobbies, and travel. For weeks, Amy had been hard at work organizing a charity event close to her heart. She had put her energy into every detail, from selecting the venue to arranging catering and coordinating entertainment. Friends, family, and fans alike knew how important the cause was to Amy, who has always been passionate about giving back to the community. Expectations were sky high, and the day was meant to be a crowning moment for her. However, as guests began arriving, a ripple of concern spread through the crowd. Amy, who was supposed to be greeting attendees at the entrance, was nowhere to be found. At first, people assumed she was simply running late, perhaps caught up with some last-minute details. After all, event planning can be hectic. But as time ticked on, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, the concern deepened into worry. Matt Roloff, Amy's ex-husband, was among the first to notice something wasn't right. Despite their rocky past, Matt has remained supportive of Amy's endeavors, particularly when it came to charity work. He made a few calls, checking with staff and family members. But no one had seen or heard from Amy since early that morning. Tori and Zach Roloff, who had also come to show their support, were spotted huddling together, visibly anxious as they tried to figure out what was happening. Soon enough, whispers turned into full-blown panic. Was Amy okay? Had something terrible happened? The local authorities were discreetly called in to begin the search. Given Amy's stature as a little person and the unique challenges she faces, her disappearance was treated with utmost seriousness from the start. The Roloff Farms, once bustling with laughter and the sounds of children playing, took on an eerie quiet. Some guests, unaware of the seriousness of the situation, tried to keep the festivities alive, while others milled around, casting nervous glances toward the entrance, half hoping to see Amy appear with her signature wide smile, laughing off the confusion. Speculation was rampant. Had Amy had a medical emergency? Was she stuck somewhere without her phone? A few darker theories floated among the more anxious attendees, none of which anyone wanted to say aloud. Meanwhile, Marek, Amy's husband, was doing his best to keep calm. He explained to a few trusted friends that Amy had mentioned feeling overwhelmed the night before. There had been some tension in the days leading up to the event, including some scheduling conflicts and minor disagreements about logistics. Amy, being the perfectionist she is, often internalized stress instead of asking for help. Chris admitted privately that he worried she might have needed a moment to herself, but hadn't expected her to disappear entirely. Hours passed. The fundraiser went on, sort of. Staff members improvised to keep activities running, auctions and raffles continued, but it was clear that the heart of the event was missing. Amy's absence cast a heavy shadow over everything. It wasn't until late in the afternoon that the first glimmer of good news arrived. Amy had been found, safe but clearly shaken, at a small bed and breakfast just a few miles from the farm. According to early reports, she had checked in that morning, leaving her phone behind and asking not to be disturbed. The staff, honoring her request for privacy, hadn't thought to alert anyone. When asked later about her disappearance, Amy shared that she had experienced a full-blown anxiety attack early that morning. The mounting pressure of the event, combined with personal emotions tied to memories of the farm and past family events, had overwhelmed her. She described feeling suffocated, trapped between the expectations placed upon her and her own fear of failing those she loved and the community she cherished. In her words, "I just needed to breathe. I needed a moment where I wasn't Amy Roloff the host or Amy Roloff the star. I needed to be just Amy, scared, tired, and human. Fans, while initially alarmed, responded with overwhelming support. Social media was flooded with messages of love and encouragement. Many praised Amy for speaking candidly about her struggles with mental health, something that is often brushed aside, especially for public figures. The incident sparked an important conversation within the Roloff family and among fans about the invisible pressures of constantly living under the public eye. For Amy, it served as a wake-up call to prioritize her mental health, even if it meant stepping back from her commitments now and then. In the days that followed, Amy took to Instagram to thank everyone for their concern and support. She promised to reschedule the fundraiser for a later date, vowing to return stronger and more present. Chris, standing firmly by her side, emphasized that their priority was Amy's well-being, not public expectations. Matt and Karen have been dating for several years. Karen, who originally worked as the manager at Roloff Farms, formed a bond with Matt that deepened after his divorce from Amy Roloff. Their relationship, while steady, has always been a point of contention, particularly with Matt's kids. Tensions have simmered for years, especially after the messy fallout surrounding the sale of part of the Roloff family farm. Zach and his wife Tori had attempted to buy a portion of the property, but negotiations fell apart. Both sides told their own versions of the story, but it ultimately led to a major rift between Zach and Matt. That tension still lingers, and it showed up again when Matt and Karen made their big announcement. According to those close to the family, Zach's immediate reaction to hearing about Matt's proposal was anything but warm. While most would expect at least a polite congratulations, Zach reportedly offered only a curt acknowledgement, barely masking his disapproval. Some sources claim Zach didn't even fake a smile or attempt small talk. Instead, he allegedly shrugged off the news, avoided offering his blessings, and shifted the conversation away from his father's milestone moment. To many, it was a clear signal that Zach harbors unresolved resentment toward Matt, and that Karen's role in the family dynamic remains a sore spot. For fans who have watched Zach grow up on the show, typically seen as the reasonable, kind-hearted sibling, this behavior feels out of character. But those who've been paying close attention to the underlying family drama may not be surprised. Zach's strained relationship with Matt didn't develop overnight. It has been building for years, largely centered around the farm, feelings of betrayal, and long-held grievances. Many believe Zach feels that Matt prioritized his own desires over the family legacy, and by extension, over the family itself. The farm was never just a piece of land. It was symbolic of the Roloff family's unity, tradition, and future. When Zach's attempt to buy into that dream collapsed, the emotional fallout was immense. That resentment extended to Karen as well, as some family members allegedly believe she influenced Matt's decisions, including the controversial choice to sell off part of the property to outsiders rather than to his own children. Given this context, it becomes easier to understand, though not necessarily excuse, Zach's cold response to the engagement news. Matt's engagement was supposed to be a joyful announcement, a step forward after years of personal and family turmoil. But instead, it has once again highlighted the divisions within the Roloff clan. Zach and Tori have been notably distant from Matt and Karen in recent years, often opting out of family events that involve them. With the engagement now official, there are fresh questions about what this means for family gatherings, holidays, and even the future of Little People, Big World itself. Fans are speculating whether Zach and Tori will even attend Matt and Karen's wedding. As of now, there's been no public statement confirming or denying their attendance. If the immediate reaction to the engagement is any indication, though a heartwarming reconciliation does not seem likely, LPBD viewers are deeply divided over Zach's behavior. Some sympathize with him, arguing that his feelings of betrayal by Matt are valid and that he has a right to keep his distance emotionally. Others, however, feel that Zach should have handled the situation more maturely, at least offering a polite congratulations even if he had private reservations. At the end of the day, it's about respect, One fan commented online, "You don't have to like everything your family does, but a basic level of decency is important." Another fan argued, "Zap's hurt runs deep. If people want him to pretend everything is fine, they're ignoring how painful the past few years have been for him." No matter where you stand, it's clear that the Roloff family drama continues to capture attention, not just because of what's said, but because of what's left unsaid. Matt and Karen have not publicly addressed Zach's reaction, and it's unlikely they will directly. They appear focused on planning their wedding and building their future together, regardless of who supports them. Karen has already indicated that they are planning a relatively small, intimate ceremony, possibly to avoid the stress of a divided family dynamic. Meanwhile, Zach and Tori seem content focusing on their own nuclear family, raising their 3 children and carving out a life away from Roloff farms and the shadow of family drama.